Hey everybody, Mike here. I just want to take a second to talk to you about our Patreon we have set up at www.patreon.com/weirdshitpodcast. Basically, Patreon is a way where fans and listeners like yourselves can choose an amount every month to donate towards the show. Your donations will be put towards buying new equipment. It'll be put towards buying munchies because fucking Palmer is insatiable. It'll be put towards helping us pay our dues for hosting the show and for keeping the websites going. And honestly, the main thing it'll help us do is let me take more time to do more research on these topics. I have a full-time job. I work 60 hours a week, and then I spend 40 hours doing research for you guys because I love this show and I want to give you the best thing I possibly can. So if you have anything you want to give us, if you think we deserve anything for that work, feel free to go to Patreon and donate whatever you can. If not, man, it's cool. Like, I love every single one of you, and I'm so glad you're listening. Just share the show with whoever you think would be interested, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks.
Hey everybody, this is Steven.
And this is Chris.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Is This Adulting?
Every week, we're going to sit down to have a discussion about life, culture, our own mental health struggles, and just about anything you can think of.
Have you ever wondered which breakfast cereal's the best?
Or how to help your friends who are dealing with mental illness?
Or why waterbeds were a thing?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, then have we got a show for you.
And remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know. They might just be starting a podcast.
Hey guys, it's Lainey, host of the True Crime Fan Club podcast. If you're a true crime addict like I am, then my podcast is for you. It's a podcast for the ultimate true crime enthusiast, giving you a glimpse into the life and crimes of the most demented minds. You won't want to miss an episode.
Do you ever wonder how folk art museums in Utah are connected to erotic Renaissance literature? Did you know a turkey puppet ran for the presidency of Ireland? Do you get in trouble at work for clicking through article after article out of pure boredom? Well, hide in your headphones and let us tumble down the digital rabbit hole for you.
We are the Wiki Ship Down podcast. We live in an age where the sum total of humanity's knowledge is in your pocket on a smartphone at any given time. But when that knowledge is peer editable, what does that say about mankind? I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ruth Ann.
And join us as we hit the random button and dive into the depths of Wikipedia.
Look around you. There are many things to see that some would say could never be. These things I know, it's true and I will tell you so. They are there to see if you believe. Trolls and wizards and fairy kings, birds that talk and fish that sing. And if your heart is true, then you will find them too. In every wish and dream and happy home, you will find the kingdom of the Gnomes.
Doesn't taste as good.
What do? Do you just like
add
double
a
the
whole
butter?
bunch of butter? Yeah.
Did you like add gnomes?
Why would I do that?
Because they're buttery.
They have high body fat.
Mm-hmm.
They could probably work as a milk substitute. Just gotta squeeze a couple of them over the bowl.
They can use their like magic powers.
I don't want to eat this mac and cheese anymore.
Welcome to the Weird Shit Podcast. This is Mike.
This is Ryan.
Hey guys,
It's Palmer.
I'm Alex.
And today we're going to be talking about gnomes.
Gnomes.
So Palmer, what do you know about gnomes?
They're a race in D&D. They,
Represent.
They're racing a lot of games.
Okay.
They live in rainbows and shit out gold.
That's Leprechaun. Probably.
Probably, allegedly.
Are they not the same thing? Oh, well, then I don't know dick about gnomes.
What do you know about gnomes, Ryan?
Well, there's basically, you got three kinds of gnomes.
Mm-hmm.
You got your garden gnomes.
Mm-hmm.
You got your Travelocity gnomes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your biplane pilot gnomes. That pilot the miniature biplanes that you see dogfighting sometimes.
They're the ones that put the flavor in the Starburst.
Exactly.
Is that why, like, World War II planes and World War I planes were like... Wait, were there planes in World War I?
There
Yeah,
were. The
there were.
biplanes.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that why they were so tiny?
Exactly. They were gnome pilots. They were because they hadn't really figured out aerodynamics as well at that point in time.
See,
So they
like,
had to miniaturize the technology.
How tall are gnomes?
Like 2
on
foot
average?
2.
On average, they're around, like 2 to 3 feet.
Okay, because like that would explain why when I took that plane ride in that B-17 like 2 weeks ago, that they said the crew was like 10 people, and I'm like,
How
would you fit that many people?
I don't
Gnomes.
understand. Gnomes. Got it. Makes sense. Because, like, my head was literally sticking out of the top of the plane. I mean, literally.
If you're going to fly a plane, you have to at least bring 1 or 2 gnomes because they're the only thing that can fight the gremlins.
Oh, yeah, okay. This is making more and more sense.
So,
do construction crews hire gnomes to make sure all, like, the...
You got to leave out, like, some cream in a saucer for them, and then they just come at night and build the ship for you.
Oh, so they, like, fix the cranes and the... and, like, the dump trucks and stuff.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. I'm learning more about gnomes. I'm thinking...
It's very informative here.
I'm putting it all together.
Exactly.
So, gnomes, they're kind of all over the world. Like
Taking over.
Known to a bunch of people. The Germans call them Erdmalines. Erdmanleins.
Spell it? What?
Why am I spelling it to you? ERD.
Where is it?
Right
Point to
there. Erdmanleins. Manlines.
Erdman lines.
Earthmanlines.
Earthman lines.
They are Earthmanlines. Except in the alpine areas where they're called Heisemansions.
Heisemansions.
Heisemansions. The alpine areas of Germany.
Wait, Heinzman. Whoa, I know some people with the last name Heinzman. I guess they're descendant of gnomes.
Exactly.
They're fucking gnomes.
Oh, dude. Shit.
In Denmark and Norway, they're the Nisi. And in Sweden, they're the Nissen.
I love these names.
And in Brittany, they're called Nanes.
Nanes.
Tonti.
Wait, did you just say there was a country named Brittany?
Yeah, Brittany.
Where the fuck is that?
It's like
Is that next to Jordan?
in Finland, they call them the Tonti.
Dodged it.
the Foldinskamain. I apologize to whoever's one of our listeners in Iceland, because that says Foldinskamain.
I mean, obviously you're butchering it. You can't even say it
Foldinskamain.
you're not even saying it in English correct. It's gnomes. There's a G.
They're also found in Poland, Albania, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Switzerland, and Russia. Like, all over the fucking place, people talk about these things. Basically, there's a few different types. There's the forest gnome, which people don't really see. There's
It's because they're in the forest.
yeah, exactly. There's the garden gnome, which lives in old gardens and enjoys telling melancholy tales. There's
From all the melons in the garden.
True.
There was one time when I saw a watermelon so big, I thought I could crawl inside of it and make a house. There's also dune gnomes, which are larger than their woodland brethren, and like they apparently dress like fucking
Sand people.
Paul Atreides,
Oh,
just
shit.
like the fucking like like sack robe thing. Like apparently, they are.
There's a bunch of gnomes protecting the spice.
The spice is life. House gnomes, who apparently just live in your fucking house.
And listen to house music.
They're just having a rave in the living room with like squirrels and shit.
There's just a fucking gnome rave in the middle of the living room, just playing that kind of house music.
That'd be dope.
They're all from Russia.
There's like, there's like a literal.
They're all doing that in perfect synchronization.
There's like a literal mouse as like the DJ. Like,
Dude, I kind of want to see a gnome rave. That sounds pretty cool.
I very much want to see that. Yeah.
The problem
Are they
is
on
they're,
drugs?
They're so, oh yeah. What kind of a rave is it without drugs?
Seriously.
Gotta at least
A discotheque.
yeah, discotheque. Welcome to Gnomish discotheque.
You must not be over 3 feet.
Eat this fucking mushroom. Like,
Turn you into a gnome.
just like Technicolor all of a sudden.
I see everything.
Gnomes eat magic mushrooms to pretend to be normal. Like, they just makes them bigger.
They imagine
In
that
their
it
mind.
makes them seem Siberian gnomes have been more interbred than other gnomes and associate freely with trolls. And everybody knows you can't trust a troll. The fact that these fucking Siberian gnomes are walking around hand in hand in troll neighborhoods and hanging out with trolls is a sign that they are no good.
I think trolls just, like, have a little person fetish. So they just really like the gnomish women.
I wonder if it's like those trolls, like the old troll dolls with like the neon hair, or if it's like like a
Those are
warty
pretty small.
thing. Yeah,
I'm thinking like the warty kind of trolls, just like protecting bridges, hanging out with gnomes.
Really skinny.
Mm-hmm.
there's also farm gnomes. And
There's too many.
yeah, there's a bunch of different kinds of gnomes. Basically, farm gnomes are like house gnomes, but they're
On
more
a farm.
conservative in the way they dress.
Oh, okay.
FarmerGnomesOnly.com.
Are they like, oh my god, what if they're like gnomes, but they look like Amish people?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man,
That's like
that's dope.
it says specifically they're
They got like the belt. No, wait, that's
conservative in manner and dress, so it's like a bunch of
No.
gnome Mennonites.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Mennonites can wear bright colors. It's
Oh, yeah.
Amish people that can only wear like the dull colors. They can only wear like black and brown and gray.
yeah,
They also can't use TV. Mennonites though,
except during Rumspringa.
yeah,
Rumspringa.
that's like once in their life though. And it's for 2 years, right? I think from 16 to 18 or
I
something.
think
like that.
so. It's something like that.
And then they all turn into Mennonites because they're like, man, the internet's dope.
yeah, they're like
What the-
Mennonites.
Or they just leave it
Mennonites
completely.
got this on lock.
How do you live without Google?
How do you? How have we been taking buggies everywhere when we can have a goddamn car?
I wonder how many Amish listeners we have, because wouldn't
0.
they have to be doing that, like sneaking it? If it's like,
To all our Amish listeners out there, we would just like to say, what up?
what up, Amish listener? You bad.
to all those Mennonites sneaking them Amish brothers and sisters on our mixtape.
So, basically, gnomes are thought to have originated in Scandinavia, and ended up later migrating to the lowlands around 1,500 years ago.
Wow, they're
The Great Gnomish Migration.
1,500 years ago.
They're generally 15 centimeters tall, which is...
That's short as fuck.
Yeah, it's like a foot and... Between a foot and
I
2
don't
feet.
even think
like,
that's a foot. 15 centimeters is less than a foot.
Yeah, I know. Foot is 30 centimeters, so... Yeah, I guess they're half a foot.
Dear God. They're like the size of this can. No wonder they like troll dolls.
No wonder they hide so well. How you gonna see that gnome? Typically, anyway.
Well, if they're wearing bright pink hair.
They have
You have to
they're
have special gnome glasses that allows you to see them.
It's like those those glasses from National Treasure with like the 3 different lenses, and like only the certain combination, only like the certain combination, and he like discovered gnomes. He went, oh shit!
What the fuck is that? Smashes it on the table. I was only here to help you make shoes.
Kill it.
So,
is Thumbelina a gnome?
she's a fairy, wasn't she?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. So,
I just know she was tiny and lived in a shoe.
yeah.
I just assume she's a gnome, I guess.
So, apparently, they look a lot taller with their hat on, though. They, they weigh around 300 grams.
They wear like high heels.
Fucking classic.
The males weigh around 300 grams, and the females are between 250 and 275, usually.
What's that convert to pounds? 250 grams to pounds. I gotta know how tiny that is. That's half a pound.
What?
Wait, how big were
I
the
could
males?
eat a gnome. Pound gnome. It's not that hard.
How big were the males?
300 grams.
Ooh. Yeah. Get them nice and fat.
Yeah, just
Probably tastes pretty good.
Throw it in a skillet with some salt and white wine. Gotta properly saute that gnome.
Oh yeah, I was gonna look up Thumbelina.
Apparently, males usually wear a red cap, blue or brown-green pants, and ether felt boots. I don't know what that means. Burnt shoes or wooden clogs. They're apparently pigeon-toed. And around his waist is a belt with a toolkit attached, holding a knife and a hammer. They're fair of face and have rosy red cheeks and long beards. The females generally wear gray or khaki clothing, consisting of a blouse and skirt that goes to their ankles.
So
this person spent a lot of time fucking staring at these goddamn gnomes.
I
It's
think
like, I have to draw them.
I'm pretty sure you're just describing the Smurfs.
The Smurfs could probably be a type of gnome.
Yeah, probably a subsect of gnomish culture.
Expect like some sort of horrible byproduct of like man's hubris.
Dude,
Just mutated a whole colony of gnomes.
We were like literally just talking about eating gnomes, and then I said that, and then now my connection is Thomas Jefferson is that evil dude from the Smurfs that keeps trying to eat them because he saw them and went, I must eat it. I must eat those gnomes.
Those poor gnomes.
That's probably why they went extinct.
I mean, they're still around, which we're gonna get to in a minute. So
we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So prior to marriage, her hair would be hanging down, and afterwards, she would have it would be braided.
Hey girl.
Hey gnome girl.
I like the way your heel looks in that shoe.
It's a bunch of gnomes like sitting on a toadstool, catcalling her when she walks by.
Hey girl,
Hey baby,
look down here.
you want to see what's under my cap? The males are guardians of animal kind, except for cats. Gnomes don't like cats.
Because they get ate by cats.
Yeah, like no joke. That's like their natural enemy is
Yeah.
the cat. Their enemies are mainly trolls, which those Siberian ones are fucking hanging out with. Bunch of traitor gnomes.
Is that like Trader Joe's?
Trader gnomes.
Trader Gnomes.
They're also mostly peaceful.
Mostly. I
Yeah.
don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, that sounds ominous. That sounds like there's some sort of like gnomish
Hitler?
James Bond villain,
Holy shit.
like
that'd be
somewhere
dope.
out there. Like
No, Mr. Bond. I
he
expect you to die.
just has a laser pointer, just shining it in his eyes. It's not doing anything. It's like, stop it.
It's annoying.
I'm gonna go blind.
It's gonna hurt my retina.
Jesus.
Frick.
Oh no, it's a cat.
Gets eaten by his own cat. Poor gnome.
I guarantee you that's the next Daniel Craig Bond movie.
He did not see that coming.
The villains just keep getting worse and worse.
It's, God, I want... Noma manga?
Yeah, Noma manga.
Gnome felt.
Gnome felt, yeah.
Who was Javier Bardem's guy?
I don't know.
I don't remember his name.
Like, wannabe Joker.
Yeah, one of the guy who's not the Joker.
Exactly.
So, gnomes are 7 times stronger than a man. Can run at speeds.
Wait. Not even like proportionally, just flat out.
Yeah, just flat out.
Holy
7 times stronger than a man.
But they're peaceful, mostly.
Mostly.
They're mostly peaceful.
I mean, you gotta watch out for the ones that are getting into MMA.
Oh shit!
Fuck you up.
Are these like underground gnome fighting rings? Oh man,
Brian, the first rule of Underground Gnome Fight Club
do not talk about
is I
underground
cannot
gnome fight.
talk about Underground
I'm just
Gnome Fight Club.
imagining like a gnome running around and all of a sudden like they pick up a car.
Why are they worried about cats? Dude, they're 7
They can
times
punch a
as
hole
strong as man.
directly through the cat.
Like the cat comes up, opens its mouth, you just punch all its teeth out.
I just imagine these gnomes doing like
And it's
God of
so-
War style finishing moves on like every fucking cat they come across.
Just like the Kratos like weapons.
The fucking gnome gets picked up in the cat's mouth, and we're like, "Oh shit!
And it just,
that
like,
cat just ate the
opens the
gnome!"
jaws.
And then it just splits its head in half from like the inside.
It gets swallowed and it just turns into like a Superman Pinocchio, except bursts through its stomach. Just like, you thought I was dead.
So if you thought gnomes were just swole as fuck,
Jesus.
as if that's not scary enough, a gnome is also capable of run. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta say this with a serious face.
This is a serious podcast.
This is a serious podcast. We do a lot of hard work to make sure that all our research is taken seriously. So gnomes can also run at 35 miles an hour.
Now I'm just picturing.
They're fucking Terminators.
Like, what's his name? Usain Bolt or whatever. I'm just imagining him like full sprint, and then all of a sudden a gnome's running next to him, and he's like, "You're slow."
Just like
He's
punches
like, "On
and
your
breaks
left."
his legs.
He breaks his ankles. Keeps
Fuck
running.
you, gnome!
I'm just getting lapped by a gnome, and it's like, on your left, over and over again.
On your left, slowpoke.
Can't keep up.
Oops, broke your legs.
Apparently, these abilities help the gnomes to do
basketball.
their natural thing that they're supposed to do, which is find wounded, dying animals for which they feel they're responsible for.
Except cats.
Except cats, because
They're
cats,
wounding the cats.
cats are an abomination. And that's why they don't like cats.
The eternal foe of gnome kind.
Just like a fucking like gnome with like a battle axe and like a cat skin cloak.
You think they ever get drunk and get into fist fights and they just punch each other like through trees?
I reckon they do.
It's like a DBZ fight.
It's literally
every
like
fucking time.
it's literally
They're
just,
just like flying around.
Running at 35 miles an hour, like punching
They-
someone with
they go-
like the force of
They
a
go
train.
like they go like super gnome and like their beard turns a different color and gets like super long, and their hats just slowly get larger and larger.
One gnome is just like, pretty good. I almost had to use 10% of my power.
And then he turns like he swells to like 3 times his like normal smallness.
Just teleports behind the other gnome. Nothing personnel.
Teleports behind you.
I fucking love gnomes.
Apparently, gnomes have elevated the practical joke to an art form. And they
By breaking
also,
your legs.
I mean, shit. It's like it just puts like a thimble full of water on top of your door. So when you like go to open the door, you like slightly wet your shoe.
No. See,
You're like,
they're super
And then it just
strong.
punches a hole through your chest. It's like, haha, you're all wet.
It's like he's trying to punch your shoulder, like, I gotcha. Oops, dislocates your arm.
My bad.
Severs your arm off completely.
Was it Diablo where sometimes you would like punch things and like their skin would fly off? Was that Diablo?
That's more of a Fallout thing, I think.
I remember playing as like a monk in something and like punching something and like the skin flew off of it and the skeleton goes flipping away. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's familiar.
I just imagine their practical jokes are like just ridiculously outlandish. Like, haha, I made a waterfall in your house. Like, and they redirect a river into your house because they're like super strong.
Apparently they live in trees. The house itself has a hidden entrance from another tree.
Oh.
And then there is a supply room with grains, beans, potatoes, and everything else the gnomes may need during winter.
Like little hobbits.
Like
miniature
little,
hobbits.
little Keebler cookies.
They also like gems and jewelry and are said to be the best gem cutters and jewelers in existence. These gnomes are good at fucking everything.
They have an extensive resume.
They're
Like-
really strong.
Very fast.
They're very fast. They have lots of different professions that they're good
skilled
at.
workers.
Yeah, they make shoes, gems. Whew, man.
They also know how to have fun.
Now all they need is the gift of dark prophecy, and then they can just rule over everything.
Do
Now
they have the gift of dark prophecy?
I don't know. I haven't got that far yet, and I'm really scared they might.
Yeah. Oh shit.
They just need to learn how to turn their 6 inches into 6 feet.
They just gotta buy some insight.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking like, just gnomes buying like boner pills from like every gas station. Just like every time he just grows a little bit more. That's how they get to be the size of like an Ewok.
Are there gnomes in North Korea?
There's at least one. I don't know how many there are, but there'd be at least one. So so obviously they're of the earth element. They are also vegetarians.
Except cats.
They harvest every part of a cat.
If you use every part of the cat, it's natural.
Exactly.
So their main meals consist of nuts, like hazelnuts, walnuts, and beech nuts.
And D's nuts.
God damn it! I knew somebody was gonna make that fucking joke. I read nuts and I snickered, and I was like, I know what's coming. Mushrooms, peas, beans, a small potato, applesauce, fruit, berries, tubers, spices, vegetables, and preserves for dessert. That is one fucking meal, because these things have 7 times the strength of a man.
You know how many calories that takes?
Are berries not fruits? They listed that as 2 different things, and that's...
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
there
not
wasn't
sure.
some weird scientific discovery where berries were all of a sudden not a
It's
fruit.
one of those things like, is it a nut or is it a legume? Like, and I'm like, I have no idea.
What's a legume?
It's a
Walnuts.
legume.
No wait, no cashews. That one. No wait. Almonds? I don't know, man.
As a beverage, the gnomes drink mead dew.
Me do.
I feel like that just means Mountain Dew.
And fermented raspberries. And then have spiced gin as a nightcap.
Dude,
These guys really know how to party.
Yeah, man. Do they have the equivalent of Doritos? Because they got
It's pronounced Doritos.
Doritos.
Made from the dew of
The mountain.
the mountain.
I have collected only the finest Mountain Dew to make this new beverage, which I will call Mountain Water Drink. I'll work on the name.
Gotta check the copyrights.
A southwest community is facing an unusual problem with its flagship tourist attraction. It's become too popular. Gnomesville, a quirky clay village near Dardanup, is growing so quickly it's damaging the local property and environment.
The Ferguson Valley is home to cows, farmers and timber, but there's a new clan in town and tensions are brewing. No one knows exactly why the gnomes moved in. Over time, thousands have been adding to the gnome home, creating a new tourist hotspot.
I even punched Gnomesville into the GPS and it brought us straight here, which I thought was phenomenal.
But gnome headquarters keeps expanding through fences and onto private property.
Because the fences have been broken, there's no boundary being set, so people can just keep the gnomes going and going and going.
Donnelly Haynes has even built a detention centre for wandering gnomes, but says the situation's now out of hand.
Because it's my place, it's my backyard. I want to be able to use it as anyone else would use their backyard, and I can't at the moment.
People have spent hours and hours creating quirky shrines for their gnomes, some of great sentimental value. Unfortunately, they've put them on the wrong side of the fence, in so-called no man's land. They'll have to be packed up and put elsewhere. The local council agrees it's become a liability for nearby property owners and has committed to help fund a barrier.
Maybe we can have it as a type of a gnome wall or something where people can put their gnomes on the wall and make it look a little bit more special, you know, and a little different. Adds to the quirkiness of the place.
With new additions cropping up every day, with or without a fence, Gnomesville is here to stay. John DiPoloni, ABC News, Gnomesville.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah. So, I know what you guys are probably thinking. You're probably thinking, Mike, gnomes are so fucking dope, Mike.
There's no way they could possibly get any more dope.
There's no way gnomes could possibly get any more dope.
I don't know if they're dope. I'm pretty sure I just find them absolutely terrifying.
You think that that the gnome is too beautiful to exist in this world?
I think we don't deserve such a creature.
Guess what, dog? Gnomes might be real.
Oh shit.
So
you can't just call them that.
So in Puerto Rico, there was a 17-year-old girl named Lynn who came home early from school. Nobody else was home, so she went to take a shower, and soon she heard her dog barking and chasing something, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, "What the fuck is this dog's problem?" Mm-hmm. So she gets out of the shower and goes to the window to see what the dog is barking at. Mm-hmm. And she could see a gnome standing behind a tree that had he was very small, wore a white cone-shaped hat and pointy shoes. He was also dressed in all white. He saw her looking at him, and they looked at each other, and when she blinked, he was gone.
Because they can run at incredibly fast speeds.
Yeah, because he runs at 35 miles an hour. So, a couple days later, she sees him, outside her window, smiling at her.
That's pretty creepy.
And then he disappears again. And then the next
Is this
time,
one of those mostly non-violent gnomes?
Yeah, I mean...
I'm hoping so.
I hope so.
No, everything he's doing is just violent towards himself.
So he hates himself.
He's violently masturbating.
She just accidentally rips it off.
And, with his human strength, I mean, sometimes it
seven
just gets
times human strength.
Sometimes it just gets away from you.
So,
it's a risk.
So after that time, she sees him again, and she's like, "What's your name?" And he yells back at her. He says, "My name is Sebastian Polazar."
Yes.
And then the next day at 1 in the morning, her mom also saw it.
Wait, isn't it?
That's where I got it from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because, come on, that name is incredible.
Yeah. I was like...
yeah. Deja vu.
So, in their house, they had, all kinds of, poltergeist activity and shit going on, too. Because, this gnome is too fast. You can't see it.
Yeah.
I'm
So
pretty
he's-
sure he was a KKK gnome too. He was wearing a white pointy hat
pointy
and
white
white
hat.
robes.
Yep.
I mean,
stalking little Hispanic girls in Puerto Rico.
Was he just burning like a tiny little white cross?
Tiny little cross.
he had an FSG.
It's like fucking like carrying signs that says like God hates trolls. Cats go to hell.
All dogs or all cats go to hell. Yeah.
And yeah, apparently that was it for like her and her family. Just basically this thing was causing like poltergeist shit too in their house. So this woman who only gave her name as Tammy, she moved with her 3 kids to like there's like a farmhouse outside of Porterville, California, in 2004. Basically, she said that she felt like a heavy sense of being watched, and like there were eyes on her, and most often, it would happen like when she was near the barn of the property, which was like on the corner of the property. It's like 100 acres of farmland. So she said that the barn started to feel like sinister, like all the time whenever she'd
She
go
felt
by it.
a gnomish presence.
She'd feel like a cold chill.
What if someone just put a whole bunch of googly eyes on the barn?
That would be pretty sinister.
That'd probably make you feel like someone's watching you.
Yeah, right?
Just feel eyes on you.
Yeah.
Like literal googly eyes on you.
They just put a bunch of googly eyes on her while she's sleeping.
Drawing angry eyebrows on all of them, so it gets sinister.
Feed me a tool shed.
For I am hungry.
Feed me a kitty cat.
So, basically, she'd feel like a cold chill coming from, like, the barn whenever she'd go by the barn.
Just blowing on her.
And, apparently it freaked out, like, animals to be anywhere around the barn, including dogs, their cat, chickens, turkeys, and a duck.
They had a lot of birds.
And the animals, like, she basically let the animals, like, wander the property, but none of them would go near the fucking barn because they're like, nah, that thing's spooky. I ain't going near that barn. It's spooky.
Got googly eyes all over that place.
So, the dogs would, like, bark at it, like, sometimes freak out at the barn, because they could hear, like, sounds coming from the barn, which sounded like grunts, growls, and squeaks. She also later noticed that a bunch of her animals had started to go missing, like, would just disappear. And she was like, man, that barn's doing this shit, I know it.
Yeah.
What if the gnome is just, like, setting them free? He's like,
be free, my brothers!
Except you, cat.
Except you, cat.
Yeah, now it's just you and me.
What was the name of the bad guy from 12 Monkeys? Like Brad Pitt's character? God
I
damn
thought
it.
he was the good guy.
I wish I could remember because it is like it's like the gnome version of that guy, setting all the animals loose. So she basically was like, "Nah, I'm just nervous," or like, "There's rats in there," or something, or maybe even like maybe they've just been like,
I'm scared.
Maybe it's just coyotes that have been grabbing the animals or something.
Dingoes.
Except one evening, she returned from town with her son and parked the car. And as she got out and like went to get groceries out of the trunk, she saw like something move like out of the corner of her eye. When she looked up, there's nothing there. So she goes back to unloading groceries. But all of a sudden, she saw like movement again, like out of the corner of her eye. This time punctuated by a insidious laugh. She said, quote, "This time I heard a very freaky, very evil-sounding chuckle. I looked in the direction of the sound, and there standing about 50 yards from my son and I was what I can only describe as a gnome. Standing there around 50 yards away was what she described as, quote, a humanoid creature about 3 feet tall, which sported a beard and was wearing baggy black pants, a gold-colored shirt, and a pointy red cap.
Am I the only one getting kind of like a thuggish, like image of this gnome?
Like a thug gnome?
How far away
has like
is
gnome Jinko jeans?
How far away is what, Portersville? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Portersville, California.
How far away is that from Compton?
I don't know. Maybe the gnome was just trying to leave the city, find like some farm life. So for a moment, it just stood there staring at her and her son with deep-set, dead black eyes, as if studying them. And then she says, quote, "That thing grinned at us, and the creepy grin spread from ear to ear, and its teeth were a gross brown and, like, jagged and pointed. It had a bulbous nose and large, deep-set eyes." Did you take a bath? You wet. Though I really couldn't tell the color of them. I never got a closer look at it, and I don't know if it was wearing shoes or not, because at the moment I dropped my groceries, I grabbed my son and ran for the house.
It's like the worst pickup line I've ever heard. Did you just take a bath? Because, damn, you wet.
You wet.
That's what the gnome said.
He's just staring up at her. She's wearing like a skirt.
I was like, this dog is coming over sniffing my leg. I'm gonna pet it right quick. And then I'm like, damn, girl, you wet. You must have took a bath. So, as soon as they got in the house, they like fucking slammed the door behind them, and she starts telling her daughters, she's like, "Gnomes, there's fucking gnomes outside. You got fucking like get away from the windows and shit," like yelling at them. And somewhere outside, she could hear it still going, like, and she could see movement like flashing by the window.
It's like straight out of Signs. It's gnomes.
So I mean, it's 7 times stronger than a man and can run at 35 miles an hour. You have to get away from this gnome.
You have to barricade yourself with steel.
Have to protect your family.
Hope you got a bunker.
They saw like movement by the window, and so when they look at the window to see like what it was, they could see the top of a red pointed cap like looming into view, which was really odd because the window was over 8 feet off the ground.
He was just jumping.
He just had a really tall hat.
Yeah, he's like half a foot tall with a 7.5 foot
hat.
Yeah,
like a 7.5 foot hat.
But it's magical, so it just stays perfectly pointed.
So she, like, she sees this shit and she goes, nope. Closes the blinds and, like, tells her kids to, like, get away from the window and, like, just waited there while this thing is, like, running around, like, laughing outside.
I want to hear what the kids saw, because if she could just be tripping real hard.
She said, after that night, whenever the dogs barked or howled, we were pretty sure we knew what they were barking at. We were also pretty sure of where our missing poultry had gone. From time to time, we'd hear a weird, creepy chuckle and other noises coming from that old barn.
So they stayed there.
Yeah. They apparently ended up moving in 2010. And, like, one evening, the new people that moved in said that they woke to the sound of, quote, raspy, gurgling singing.
How do you gurgle sing?
And they said when they looked out the window, they could see standing by a small pond on the property a creature about 3 feet in height, wearing maroon pants and a baggy yellow shirt with a brown vest and dark waistcoat. They said it had a bushy gray beard and had a tall pointed red hat. The eyes of the being were said to be small and black, its teeth discolored, jagged and sharp. And that it seemed to know it was being watched and apparently stared right back at them before snatching one of their, like, koi fish out of the pond and then, like, shoving it in its fucking mouth and, like, running off.
Holy shit, that's not one of the non-violent gnomes.
I'm pretty sure that's not a gnome at all. It's too tall. Plus it ate a fish. They're vegetarians.
That was one of the mountain gnomes.
Oh, okay. Well, no, it would be a barn one because it's living in a barn.
I'm just figuring because of the height.
Maybe barn gnomes are bigger than than other gnomes. Because this one's like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, 3 feet.
They get big off of eating all the cats.
Dude, if
all the koi,
all the poultry.
So, like, before we read that, like, these things were supposed to be vegetarians, but this one's literally, like, snatching, like, chickens and fish.
Yeah, it's eating, like... What's that kind of... What's the type of person that doesn't eat...
Is it...
Pescatarian?
Pescatarian, I think?
Pescatarian, something like that. I don't know.
I have no idea. It's like a vegetarian, but they can eat, like, fish.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Like Pierce Brosnan, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, like Pierce Brosnan, probably. Yeah, so this fucking family, like, the family that moved in after the other one, apparently it would, like, steal their fish out of the pond, and they also had, like, lawn gnome, like, decorations, which it would, like, just kind of, like, apparently, I guess, just hang out with. Like, it'd, like, go out and be like, so what what are you doing? What are you doing later? How you doing? Because it's, like, playing with them, whatever that means. And, like, the dude, the husband got, like, so pissed off about this, he ended up just throwing away, like, all the lawn ornaments and the fish. And apparently the gnome ended up throwing a tantrum after he threw away the fish, stomping about and shouting in some garbled, bizarre language. He said it would skirt around the house, banging on the walls and testing locked doors at night. And finally they just ended up fucking moving. Because, yeah.
Can't really blame them at all.
That's a fucking terrifying gnome.
Pretty sure that all gnomes are just running around causing problems, and then at the end they just go, "It's just a prank, bro."
Yeah, it's just a
prank, bro. I also have this story starting in 1952 when this dude was just a kid. Dan Bortko of Wyandotte County, Kansas, had like started to have like a gnome like follow him around.
Yeah.
Apparently, he and his family had moved into a 2-story home in Liberty, Missouri. Is that MO? MO is Missouri, right? Or is that Montana?
Yeah.
Montana. Okay. In Liberty, Montana, Borko would see like a humanoid about 3 feet tall in like lederhosen with a pipe just like lurking around their house. Like sometimes it would just show up in his room at night.
Yeah.
It would, like, stand there looking at him, and then smile and wink, and then disappear, like, into the closet.
Yeah.
Borko said that he'd often look outside his window at night to see, quote, little people congregating out around the barn. He once drew a picture of the one he'd seen up close, and it was so frightening to his little brother that he'd cry whenever he saw it.
Jesus.
Borko said of his first encounter with the creature, quote, I had just awakened from a nap and was rubbing my eyes and saw what you would call a troll. I'll call him a troll because that's what he reminded me of. It was an old man with a long beard, large nose, about 3 feet tall, standing at the foot of my bed. And I was astounded.
I'm sure he was.
I just imagine this guy drew a stick figure gnome, and it's literally just like the crudest drawing of a gnome you could possibly see.
He like drew a circle and put a triangle on its head.
That's exactly what I'm picturing.
His brother's just like in a fetal position. So
It's terrifying.
So there's another case from the early 1960s where a witness known as Jerry claimed he saw a gnome in his house in Orange, New Jersey. Jerry claimed that one day he'd gone outside into the backyard and seen a, quote, small gnome-like man with a long beard standing by the steps leading up to the porch. He said the little man had funny clothes on and a pointed hat and all. And later, years later, the strange creature would make another appearance at the home when Jerry's 5-year-old nephew woke from a nap crying to run downstairs and claimed that a small man with a flowing white beard had been staring at him while he slept.
Smells are so creepy.
And the 7 times stronger than a man.
Yeah.
So, in General Güemes in Salta, Argentina, it's basically a really small town. A bunch of their residents are, quote, living in fear because there's been several sightings of a creepy gnome that locals claim stalked the streets. Jose Alvarez actually got the gnome on videotape, which I'm going to show you guys now.
Yes. Oh, the quality.
Yeah, it's like filmed with a fucking potato.
Literally, somehow.
Is that him? He's pretty tall.
It's just some dude.
Some Slavic guy.
So this is fucking great. Watch this shit. Watch. Here it comes. Right there. No, watch. Watch it. Watch this fucking thing.
Holy
Watch
shit.
it. Look at that shit.
It's a fucking gnome.
It's a fucking gnome. What the fuck? How fucking dope is that?
Yeah, love it.
It's fucking blew my mind.
100% a gnome.
Okay, so get this. Dude says, Jose Alvarez said, quote, "We were chatting about our last fishing trip. It was 1 a.m. I began to film a bit with my mobile phone while the others were chatting and joking. Suddenly we heard something, a weird noise as if someone was throwing stones. We looked to one side and saw the grass was moving. To begin with, we thought it was a dog, but when we saw this gnome-like figure begin to emerge, we were really afraid." He also added that other locals had come forward to say that they'd seen it too. He says, "This is no joke. We're still afraid to go out, just like everyone else in the neighborhood now." He says, "One of my friends was so scared after seeing that thing, we had to take him to the hospital."
Holy shit.
What if, like... Now, hear me out. What if gnomes are really just little people that are taking vacations to, like, places like Argentina, and then dressing up as a gnome and scaring the bejesus out of people?
Those are your Travelocity style gnomes.
I'd probably do that.
They just go from, like... They're just, like, on an airplane with, like, a suitcase. Or, like a briefcase.
Just
and
a bunch
all
of
that's
gnome
in it
shit in
is
it?
just, like, their hat and clogs and, like, some shoes.
Just follow your gnome.
Wait, no, pants. And they literally just, like, go around obscure areas in the world just, like, throwing rocks at people late at night.
Just pranking.
Yeah.
Scaring the shit out of, like...
But they also have, like, rocket boots in their shoes so they can run 37 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're natural tinkers and inventors.
Yeah.
So they have...
It's like an Iron Man exoskeleton, like, underneath the fucking, like, gnome outfit. Just, like...
That's where they get
It's
their
like
strength from
punching
exoskeletons.
He's like, in that thing
exosuits.
from Alien or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like the...
Get away from my lawn, you bitch.
Just chucking rocks at people.
Punching cats.
My natural enemy.
We meet again for the last time.
And now you shall die.
There's like a gnome like, "This is your demise, Mr. Whiskers."
This will be the last time you steal my honey.
That was my milk, cat bitch.
They have to call the cat by their given name.
That's how you gain power over the cat.
It's
you
true.
have to know its name. Most of the time, it's not going to listen to it anyway, but...
Fluffy.
This is the only kind of power
We meet
you can gain
again.
over it.
Okay, here. Listen here, Mr. Whiskers. You are now my mortal enemy.
Only then, Mittens. You have my permission to die.
Oh, what if they just have like a pouch of dried catnip?
Pocket catnip.
Pocket catnip.
Just like... It's why, like, sometimes your cat will look like he's stoned, and you're like, I don't even have any fucking catnip in this house.
Because there was a gnome.
Because he got attacked by a gnome.
Drive-by catnip.
They're running at 35 miles an hour because cats can probably... How fast can a cat run?
Not 35 miles an hour.
I bet they can.
I don't think
doubt
they
it,
could.
but Cat facts. Let's just Google that.
No.
Let's just...
No. Don't subscribe.
Welcome to Cat Facts.
More about cats. Click.
Me, wow.
Okay, I'm just gonna Google how fast.
Is there a cat fact at like Wikipedia?
I'm sure there is.
How fast can a cat run? 30 miles an hour.
Oh shit! That's why they run 35.
That's why they
it's
run
just
35.
fast enough to escape a fucking cat.
Yeah, or to catch a cat.
Yeah. Oh shit!
Oh Jesus! That's why cats are so good at serpentining and climbing trees so quickly. Is to get away from gnomes.
Fucking just like a horde of gnomes with spears, like chasing the fucking cats.
That's
in the
why
wild.
cats are always running up trees. They're getting away from the gnomes.
That's why there's so many missing cat flyers, because the gnomes are catching them.
That's right, just ganking them.
Fucking
Harvesting their organs.
Cat wanders outside for a little bit too long at night.
So in reality, you're just being a cool animal owner by having an outdoor cat because you're just putting its life in unnecessary risk.
Those fucking gnomes are coming for your cats.
Protect your cats.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sally Sunnybottom reporting live from the scene of a gnome napping. This particular gnome is female and wearing blue and gold. She stands about 10 inches tall. A full-scale investigation has begun. This just in. A tracking dog has just arrived on the scene. More later on this gnome month. This is Sally Sunnybottom reporting live from News Channel WKADE 24.
So, Palmer, what do you know about cats? what do you know about gnomes? What do you know about gnomes?
What do you think about gnomes?
Congratulations, you are now subscribed to Cat Facts.
You subscribe to Gnome Facts.
What do you know about, or what do you think about gnomes?
I think we have determined that they are evil creatures that terrorize cats and people by being as creepy as possible.
David the Gnome was gnome-friendly propaganda.
All friendly images of gnomes are under Big Gnome. They're just
Big Gnome. It's just a gnome that's like 8 inches tall instead of 6 inches tall.
No,
he's like the fucking kingpin of gnomes.
He's that 3-foot motherfucker that all these people keep seeing.
Oh shit!
It's a Michael Clark Duncan gnome.
No,
he's just like towering over all the gnomes. Just like,
you must dominate the cat. Only then can you saute it.
Welcome to my barn.
What's your name? Meat Drapes, sir.
Why doesn't it sound like what I said? Meat drapes.
It's Madropides, sir.
Whatever, motherfucker.
So, what do you think? What do you think about gnomes, Ryan?
Personally, I'm terrified of gnomes, but also
as of today, yeah. Before,
I never really had a fear of gnomes. Now that we know the feats that they're capable of,
and you saw the fucking video.
Yeah.
Now that we have looked past the gnome propaganda,
yeah. Now that we know the truth of the gnome,
oh my god!
Now we can be aware of and begin to counteract the gnomish threat.
They are creatures of terror.
They are.
I'm honestly really glad that deforestation is a thing. Because fuck those gnomes.
Fuck those forest gnomes. Exactly.
I'm pretty sure they're on the same level as ISIS. I mean, they're just.
Well, I mean, I feel like they have way better feats of strength than ISIS.
Yeah, they're way stronger.
Yeah.
Although there's a fucking gnome punching a tank. He goes flying away. Just like, holy shit.
Although I would like to attend a house gnome party.
Can you imagine if we ever went to war with gnomes? We'd be screwed.
You could never win.
It would be a never-ending fight against gnomes.
7 times human strength.
Casualties would be 70% of the human race.
They just go around bars, hustling people. Like, I bet I can beat you in arm wrestling.
Don't do it.
And it's like no, they do it with your pinky.
Yeah, they let you win like 3 or 4 times, and then they chuck you across the room.
Twist your fucking arm off.
Pay up, bitch! You owe me $6 million.
Like roll you up like a towel.
Gotta get your game up, son. God
Shit's
damn
weak.
Gnomes.
Shit's weak.
Try again, sucker.
Shut up, gangsta ass gnome.
I think that gnomes are fucking scary as shit.
Yeah.
Like, that video, though, was so fucking dope. Like, when I found that video, I was like, what the fuck? Like, either that's the, like, either gnomes are real, or, like, that's the worst $10 that little person has ever had to make.
Yeah,
it's like,
one of the two.
It wasn't even a good fucking quality, like, wasn't even, like, high quality or nothing.
And
it
he was
like,
just kind of waddling.
Yeah, I'd seen, like, I was like, there's gotta be, like, eyewitness, like, gnome shit, because, like, I stumbled onto, like, one eyewitness talking about seeing a gnome, and I was like, there's gotta be videos, right?
Yeah.
So when I found that one, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because I saw a bunch of, like, obviously CG ones on
Yeah.
YouTube, but I'm going to post that one on, like, the Facebook group and also on the fucking, like, page for this episode, because that is one of the best fucking...
That was pretty great.
One of my favorite, like, pieces of weird fucking paranormal evidence I've ever seen.
I think what terrifies me the most about that video is, imagine that thing running 35 miles an hour.
I know.
It looked like it couldn't walk, but just all of a sudden it just turns on the speed and it's like, oh my god!
It looked like it was lining up for a tackle.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like.
It was like,
I
must get the proper angle.
It takes them a while to get sped up, but once they reach terminal velocity,
that's why cats are so good at dodging,
Exactly.
right? Because gnomes are really good at going fast in a straight line, like an alligator.
Gnomish top speed.
But if you serpentine, you're good.
When you compare cat top speed and gnome top speed, gnomes are going to come out on top. But like you said, cats have the serpentine factor and they can climb.
No.
But the gnome, you can just like karate chop the tree down. So
yeah, I guess that's true. You got to make sure it's a live tree, and it's at least 50 years old, or else they're just going to punch right through it.
Yeah.
Maybe their eyesight isn't very good. So they just
gnomes can't look up.
Get it. Dude, their hat's too big. Their hat's too big.
If they look up, their hat will fall off. They can't do it.
They're just like,
they get stuck,
or they fall over. It throws them off balance, so they can't do it.
Little stumpy legs. And that
what if
big
that's
old
how
hat?
they're so fast? They just point their head straight forward and
Like-
become super aerodynamic.
like Naruto run?
They just Naruto run at 30 miles
They just
an
like
hour.
take off and start flying.
So they get away so quick.
And people just think they're running that fast when they're actually just flying.
They're flying at very low
It's just
altitudes.
like the Star Wars like speeder sound.
The fucking train exploding.
That's what all those noises they were hearing at that barn was. It's him just being in mid-flight. Now I'm picturing gnome pod racing.
I have no idea how we've reached this point.
Now this is pod racing, and it's just like Anakin sitting on top of a gnome. But then in like real time, you're just watching it, and it's like
There's
a gnome. It's like
Ben Quadraneros has like 4 gnomes tied together.
that. If I ever get a quadcopter, I'm definitely gonna make it look like a gnome. It's just gonna be flying around.
Yes.
People will be like, "Is that a flying gnome?"
Oh God!
You're like, you don't understand. Gnomes can fly.
It's packed with rocks to throw at people.
I mean, they like if they could run 35 miles an hour and then they like jump, they could probably basically fly anyway.
Yeah.
Just have like Flight of the Valkyries, except it's in like a gnomish like laugh. Gnomes are coming.
I just imagine them like sitting on each other's backs, listening to Credence.
Yeah.
No false bomb, man, where the flame. This is like fucking gnome Vietnam.
I ain't no fortunate gnome.
The fucking a bunch of the fucking gnome sightings I saw were in like Puerto Rico. They're probably having some sort of secret jungle war against chupacabras. Like if they both eat fucking like chickens and cats and stuff, they'd be fighting over their food supply.
I feel like chupacabra is just a weird evil cat. So they're just fighting the evil cats.
Cats are chupacabra sympathizers, or like like fucking like thralls of the chupacabra.
Cats are like picketing outside of like trees in forests, just like Chupacabra did nothing wrong.
Okay, come with me on this. So in Dracula, he gets Renfield, who's like his like thrall, who like does all his like dirty work for him. He like hides him when it's daylight and stuff like that. So what if the Chupacabra is just a cat vampire, and then cats are their Renfield?
I 100% agree.
And that is why they're being hunted by gnomes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It holds water.
I think we're splitting this one wide open.
I feel like we're really digging to the bottom of this.
Now, where do trolls fit in? I feel like they fit in somewhere in this equation.
Very carefully.
They're the gnomes that are too tall to fit into the gnome society. They're outcast.
So
you're too tall. Leave.
Have you seen those like
banished.
those like Norwegian trolls before? Like the like little like garden trolls or whatever from Norway?
No.
I think there was one in an episode of Community, like where like the whole room caught fire and stuff.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a gnome.
Well, maybe it was a gnome. I don't know.
I thought it was a troll.
Yeah, I think it was a troll.
Yeah.
But yeah, those things are fucking weird.
Yeah, they are.
Like, just like, I love imagining like a whole like historical fiction between them and the gnomes, where like they've constantly been at war with each other. Just like those weird little Norwegian trolls and the gnomes, just like fucking like Game of Thrones
each
style,
other, yeah.
like destroying each other.
They're suicide bombing. They're just they're.
So this week we have a listener submission from Fiona, who sent us her story here.
What up, girl? Fiona,
how you doing? Thank you for sending this in. Fucking
She's
love
got
these.
4 names.
I'm trying. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna give those though because. So
I guess whatever.
Sorry, I don't do this every week. I'm gonna try to do it every week from now on, as long as I remember. So Fiona says, all this starts back about 20 years ago when I was around 12. Back then, the movie The Craft, like that Nev Campbell movie with like the witches, she said was the hot topic. All girls my age secretly wanted to be witches and mess around with magic and ghosts. She was like, I of course was no different. We had this teeny little magic shop down the street from my school called the Ring of Atlantis. It sold things like tarot cards. We had this teeny little magic shop down the street from my school called the Ring of Atlantis. It sold things like tarot cards, Ouija boards, books about demons and ghosts. So me and 3 friends, our little witches club, so to speak, all pitched in and bought this book on summoning ghosts.
Uh-oh.
Don't like where this is going, Fiona.
I feel like that might have been a mistake.
Nah.
What does this book do?
It summons Casper, but in order to summon Casper, you have to kill a kid.
Okay.
Deal!
Okay, Mr. Slenderman.
They just run over Casper.
So, back then, my parents had this big shed-like structure all the way in the back of the yard, and they made a cool little pub out of it. Put in a bar, a pool table, beer advertisements on the wall. It was pretty cool. We used it as our little gathering place, so we all took turns studying the book and figured we understood what we needed about summoning ghosts, and we could do it, and we could go for it. Big mistake. No shit.
Yeah.
She says, so we all get permission to sleep over in the shed one night, and we get all our supplies together. Candles, a pentagram, and salt on the floor, and the book in the middle. We sat in a circle on top of the pentagram, and we started chanting the words that we learned from the book. For about 15 minutes, absolutely nothing happened. Patience isn't usually a strong suit at that age, so we got bored. After about half an hour, we decided enough was enough, and we broke contact. That's when the shit hit the fan. She says, starting from right next to the door, all the beer commercials, one by one, started crashing to the floor. So did the bar stool, and it went full circle and ended up back at the door. The door, which was locked, flew open almost off its hinges, and an ungodly wind started blowing in on an otherwise pretty windless night. We all just fucking started screaming, and we all ran for the house as if the devil himself was chasing us. He might have been.
Yeah, it kind of seems like he was.
Like that's like some serious shit. If it can like kick in your fucking locked fucking door, like I would be fucking. I'd be like, we're moving.
Yeah,
we're moving right now.
And spend another night in that zip code.
Well, I mean, that's what they get for trying to do this in a shed.
You can't trust, like, sheds are naturally evil places.
Oh yeah,
they're just naturally ominous.
They're full of like ghosts and
clippers and axes hanging up on the wall and shit.
Weapons. And
I saw what happened in Commando when he went into that shed and came back out, and it turned him into a killing machine.
Yeah, everybody was dead. Saw blades in the head.
Wasn't anybody stood no chance. So, she says, now you would think that's how it all ended and we went on our merry way. Nope. Whatever we invited in was there to stay. Over the next few years, I avoided the shed. Things would go missing there. You'd feel a cold draft of air in places there really couldn't be any. The alarm we had randomly kept showing, kept randomly showing an intruder in the shed while no one was ever there. We eventually had to get it shut down. At age 17, I moved out on my own and spent less time in the house until I was 21. Circumstances made it so that I had to move back to my parents. She said, years had passed, so I'd kind of forgot about all the ghost stuff from the past, or at least I no longer took it so seriously, and had started to blame an overactive imagination or one of my friends pulling an elaborate prank. My folks suggested I convert part of the shed pub to a bedroom so that I would have more privacy during my stay. Why would you accept this? Like, this is the fucking, like, shed that you just summoned the goddamn devil in. I would not. I'd be like, no, you sleep in the shed. I'm sleeping in the fucking house.
Yeah, but you could have privacy, with the ghosts.
Yeah, with all the fucking demons in there. That was until I started spending my nights there. Duh. It started innocently enough with footsteps on the roof. I initially blamed cats. Very large, very heavy cats. Nonetheless, I tried to find logical explanations. One night, I called up my sister, who was in her room in the main house, facing the shed, and asked her if she could see what was going on the roof. There was nothing up there. Yet I could stand there, hearing the footsteps going from right to left over the whole roof of the shed. She said it repeated itself a few times, and I then asked my sister if she'd mind sleeping up there with me, because frankly I thought I was going mad or something.
Yeah.
Well, see, clearly it's gnomes.
I mean, holy shit, it could have been.
Chasing the cats.
Yeah, he's chasing the fucking cats on the roof.
And it's picking the easy fat targets because it's the fat cats. That's why they're making such heavy footsteps.
Holy shit. Yep. And like that's why there was like the poltergeist shit inside the house too, because that one woman with the creepy gnome, she said it did like poltergeist shit in her house.
Yep.
So she moved into my room. She also immediately noticed the same things I did. Odd smells, things being moved, weird noises, and of course the footsteps. That gnome has to keep running laps.
Yeah.
Gradually the activity got worse and worse. The last 2 nights we spent in there were the absolute worst. Meanwhile, my youngest sister, who's an absolute horror freak, was also sleeping over sometimes because she just loved the shit that was happening. Which
pretty morbid.
I mean, honest to God, it's kind of a 50-50 for me, because it's like this thing might hurt you, so yeah, that's really scary, but also I kind of want to know what the fuck is going on. So
True.
You know what the fuck's going on? It's the damn gnome, right? And he's trying to keep in shape by doing parkour all over the top of your roof, jumping from the fence to the
he's just up there doing his workout.
Yeah,
he's just parkour.
Yeah. Just doing some gnome parkour, running 40 miles an hour out through the top of your roof.
So she says, where was I? The last 2 nights spent their absolute worst. Youngest sister, who's an absolute horror freak and was also sleeping over sometimes because she loved the shit that was happening. So there we were, the 3 of us. We had 2 of us in the big bed and 1 of us on a mattress on the floor next to it. I was laying there when I saw an indentation of someone sitting down next to my sister on the bed and fucking stroking her hair.
Nope.
Woke her up, totally freaked her out. No shit.
Yeah.
We all sat up scared when all of a sudden, all of us were violently yanked by our hair. It quieted down immediately after, and eventually we slept. So they're like, holy shit! And then it, like, grabs them by the fucking hair and, like, jerks them back. That they're like...
The ghost is kinky.
Yeah. So the next night, well, I mean, we did a whole episode about that, so be careful. The next night, the very last one, we had the usual activity, the footsteps and other noises. One other noise in particular was always extra creepy. The sound of a saw trying to saw through the roof.
No.
But we'd gotten used to those. At one point, the indentation was back all of a sudden. When we were still awake, and we again saw the youngest of us get yanked by the hair. One of us, I don't remember quite who, then got very mad and started shouting to leave us the fuck alone. At that point, pretty much the entire shed started shaking. The lights started coming on and off, and eventually the door started shaking so hard its hinges were gonna burst. We sort of all grabbed a bar stool, tried to look brave, but feeling damn near terrified, and we kicked out the door. The shaking immediately stopped, and the lights came back on. Once more, a couple of young girls came running out of the shed, this time probably with the devil really chasing us. I never went back in at night, only during the daytime to grab whatever I needed. In fact, no one really ever did no one really ever did after that. Sorry, I am very stoned. Dad took out all the pub items, and it became just a shed. The house has very recently been sold. I hope the new people don't ever feel a pub or guest house is appropriate in the shed. They'll soon find that it's a bad idea. That was my ghost tale. Honest to Satan, true story. Hope you've at least enjoyed it, and it would be cool to hear it told on the show someday. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You guys are awesome, and keep up the hard work. Aw.
Thank you.
That's adorable. So, Ryan, what's your shout out this week?
My shout out this week?
Out of left field. All right.
Yeah, I know. I just shook out. I got to keep you on your toes, so we can swing it shit.
All right, my shout out is Total Warhammer 2 about to come out. It's gonna be dope. I'm gonna play the shit out of it.
Got some. What's in Total Warhammer 2?
It's got Skaven, so there's rat people.
Oh shit.
There's gonna be high elves, dark elves, and the motherfucking lizard men.
No fucking way.
Yes.
So I can play lizard men fighting rat people?
You can, and you will.
I'm gonna have to buy this game.
Sigmar has your consent.
Oh, can you name your own character?
You can name some of them, I think.
Just name yourself Alex Jones.
Yeah,
there you go.
Holy shit, that'd be amazing. So, Palmer, what's your shout out this week?
D&D 5th edition.
Yeah.
Just started that new campaign.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's gonna be dope.
I think it's gonna be dope. My shout out this week is to Marco's Pizza. I have lived here forever. I have never had it before, but god damn, that's some good pizza. It's like cheapish, kind of like Papa John's or something level of like pizza, but holy shit is it good. It's like the best fucking franchise pizza I've ever had in my life. So yeah, that's it for this week. Keep sending us your emails. Let us know what you think of the show. Send us more of your listener stories. Fiona, thank you again. This was great. Check us out on Patreon. Follow us on Twitter. Check out our Facebook group. We got that link there. And we'll see y'all next week.
Send all of our episodes to Ridley Scott so we can get some of these movie ideas going.
Get him with these fucking movies.
We got millions. We got millions of ideas. Hit us up.
We are literal fountains of creativity that is currently being silenced by Ridley Scott not answering our emails.
Damn it, Ridley.
God damn it, Ridley Scott. So yeah, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Gnome.
Peace.
Gnome.
Man, that episode was dope. You know what else would be dope? If you guys told us your paranormal stories. I know some of you have seen ghosts, some of you have seen fucking UFOs, some of you have seen Bigfoot. If you write into us, we have an email. It is weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. We really want to read you guys' emails. If you want to just give us a shout out, you can give us a shout out. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to record a voice message, I want to start putting voice shout outs at the beginning of every episode now. So if you send us those, that would be fucking dope. We have the Google Voice number. If you'd rather call up and leave us a voicemail, you can tell us your story that way. Send us some positivity, man. Keep the positivity coming. It's the number for that is 919-346-3071. That's 919-346-3071. We also have a Facebook group, the Weird Shit Podcast official Facebook group. We're on there all the time. We're posting memes. We want to talk to you guys. Fucking tweet at us. Fucking Facebook us. Fucking email us, man, because we love to hear from you and we want to keep doing this forever.